My name is Bryn, and I'm going to explain several theories of color vision. The first is the trichromatic theory of color vision, or the Young-Helmholtz. And so the way this theory got its name is from two scientists. The first was Young, and he actually discovered this phenomenon first, and he was the first theorizer, but then Helmholtz modified his theory and provided more empirical evidence. And so first I'm going to show you a demonstration that relates to this theory. And so on this flashcard you can see green dots, red dots, yellow dots, and blue dots. And so the point of this demonstration is to show that it should be harder to discern the blue dots. It might be better to visualize this if I would draw it slowly away. You can see that the other dots keep their distinct color for longer, whereas the blue dots quickly turn into black. So your brain has a harder time distinguishing the blue dots compared to the others. And I'll explain why this is after I define the trichromatic theory. So the trichromatic theory states that there are long, medium, and short wavelengths, and they stimulate a distinct response from three different cones in the retina. And so the short wavelengths stimulate mainly the blue, medium green, and long yellow. And so you might ask, but how would we distinguish a bluish green, say a teal? And the answer to this is that each of these three types of cones are maximally sensitive to one type of wavelength. But when we perceive teal, it is because both the blue and green, or the short and medium, are equally activated. You might then ask, why would we perceive white? This is because all three cones are equally active. Now back to this demonstration. The reason why we have a harder time discerning blue is because the short wavelengths representing blue are less abundant. So the receptors for blue are less abundant than the yellow, red, and green. So that is why it's harder to discern the blue. And so the trichromatic theory explains a lot of things, but it does not explain everything. For example, it does not explain the after image, like the one we saw in class of the US flag. What does explain this theory is the opponent process theory, proposed by Herring. It states that we perceive colors in terms of opposites. And so our visual system, behind the receptors themselves, so going back to the ganglion cells and then to the thalamus, they respond with an increase in activity to indicate one color of light and a decrease in activity to indicate the other. And so examples of colors that are opposites are red and green, so Christmas colors, blue and yellow, and black and white. And so after staring at a color in one location for long enough, our brain fatigues and switches to the other color. So for example, if you stared at this black square for long enough and then switched to a white surface, instead of seeing a black square with a white background, you might see a white square with a black background. And so this summarizes the trichromatic theory and the opponent process theory of color vision. So thank you for watching.